On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition, sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
All right, everybody, on this Friday night, yes, we're going the Platner route once again because it just keeps getting better, or, depending on perspective, infinitely worse if you're the Democrat Party, which now has ceded any illusion of having the moral high ground. At least they've always acted like they've always had the moral high ground, and talking about how I have to save democracy and destroy the fascists and the Nazis in the White House. Well, most of you are now backing a literal Nazi, a guy who obviously is a Nazi sympathizer, has a Nazi tattoo, concentration camp guards on his chest for 20 years. And now some ex-girlfriends of Platner have come out and are saying that he knew exactly what the Nazi tattoo meant, even though he claims that, no, I thought it was a skull and crossbones. Yeah, huh? Right. That's not holding up at this point. So New York Times comes out with a story, which I was just on Fox earlier today, talking about how they completely soft-pedaled it while they came forward in terms of the story, and one particular ex-girlfriend of Platner described some pretty horrific stuff, including when he basically locked her in a closet for an entire evening and wouldn't let her out until the next day. That's not good. Believe all women. Oh, what does E. Jean Carroll think of all this? She can't have possibly any thought of backing Graham Platner, right? Believe all women. That's what Democrats said over and over again. And there are other times where obviously he grabbed women, leaving marks on their body. Disturbing behavior is the way these women described it. But here's the thing about the New York Times. They run this story. You have to go 22 paragraphs down before you find anything about these allegations. A lot of the beginning is a lot of campaign spin, and they really almost put you to sleep before they hit you with what should have been in paragraph 1, the lead. Paper of record. Great job. And then they tried to discredit the main character, so to speak, protagonist in this particular story, one of Graham Platner's ex-girlfriends, who happens to be and was a Republican operative. And the implication, if you read it, is, well, because of her political leanings, she just is coming forward now because she wants to take out Platner, even though she has texts, even though she has people that could corroborate her story. None of them were included in this New York Times. Well, let's call it what it is. I believe it was, who is that, Ronan? The Woody Allen's kid. Why can't I remember his name? Oh, man. Has he been off the map that long? Catch and Kill. Thank you. I read the whole book. Who is it, Kev? Ronan Farrow. Thank you. Right. Mia Farrow's son, of course. How do I not know that? It's Friday. It's been a long week. Anyway, the point is, here is Graham Platner with Chris Hayes, which you want to talk about, not even a softball interview. This was T-ball. If you put a beach ball on the teeth, that's how soft this was. But here's Platner denying everything and anything that applied in terms of these allegations. And it's not exactly, well, convincing. Cut number 10, go.
You did not grab her by the wrist. You did not put your hands on her shoulders. You did not push her into a room that you closed the door on. She's lying about that, is what you're saying.
Yes, that is not true.
And Chris Hayes is like, oh, I'm satisfied. Let's move on. Yes, that is not true. All right. So it's not just one woman saying this. There are several, and more will probably come forward. You know how this works. more will come forward. And now, at least I saw on CNN not too long ago, one Democratic congressman, I'm sorry, it was kind of going fast and I didn't get her name. It wasn't on the Chiron, saying that she no longer can support Graham Platner for Senate. And once one comes forward, somebody else will feel pressured to, and they'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends, and so on, like that old commercial. When the dam breaks, it happens quite quickly. Ask Eric Swalwell. So my feeling here is that he doesn't survive this, because there's a poll out today from Fabrizio, which is a very good pollster. I know you're saying I've never heard him before. It's one of Trump's pollsters, but he got the 2024 election nailed down to every state, down to the popular, everything. All right. So you can say, well, he's a Trump pollster. Well, yeah, he's good, though. Maybe that's why Trump employs him. Right now, he has Platner 46, Collins 46. This race was 12, 14 points in Platner's favor, like just a couple of weeks ago. When you fall that quickly, it's never going to go in the other direction, because once you are defined as a candidate, you can't put the toothpaste back in that tube. You can't unring that bell. He has been defined as, at the very least, a very weird guy who should be seeking a shrink instead of a Senate seat. And at the worst, and I'm more towards the worst, given all the evidence that we have here at this point, all the things he has said, this is somebody who absolutely should be nowhere near the Senate, the House, any house, quite frankly. Restraining orders everywhere. I'll go through the list again. Not just a Nazi tattoo. Says that all black people don't tip well. All right, so you're checking off all these boxes now. You got the Nazi thing going. Now you've insulted black voters. He has said that women should act more like an adult when getting raped. He also says that women in the military should not be able to file a complaint if they get raped. All right, so women, which makes up a solid majority of voters in Maine, now he is completely and totally demeaned and insulted. All right, so we got that part down. Let's see. Oh, right. Cheered on Hamas when they killed Israeli soldiers. All right, I guess back to the anti-Semitic stuff again. He's against border security. He is against funding ICE. All right, so this is somebody who doesn't have your best interest at heart as far as security of the country or security of your community. So that ain't good. And obviously, we talked about all these tweets and Reddit posts. And oh, by the way, being on a site that literally is a predatory site for children called Kick, where he was a member, and not, oh, while I was a young person. No, not until last year when he was thinking about running for Senate was he thinking about not being on that site anymore. And I guess he took down his account. But again, that's only because of let's limit the Oppo research stuff at this point. So if you're a parent, you're like, oh, okay, that's the weirdo I'm trying to keep my, and possibly worse, person I'm trying to keep my kids from. What is appealing about this person? Nothing. So all it takes is one big name, AOC. AOC goes, then he's gone. That's it. Bernie is an idiot, a worthless person who's contributed nothing to this country, nothing to society. Contributed a lot to himself. He's got 3 homes. And if he goes, then it's definitely over. But AOC, that's the one you got to look out for right here, because she is the ultimate feminist, right? And she talks about all the dangers of fascism. Well, put your money where your mouth is, Sandy. Here she is in cut number 1, where, again, she's always so sure of herself, always so loudmouthed. And now, boy, sounds as soft as a kitten here, where not really coming to Platner's defense here in cut number 1. Go.
Should Democrats abandon Graham Platner after these messages came out, these sexually explicit messages they sent to women?
You know, I haven't waded into that primary. I don't believe the primary has occurred yet. So I will kind of, again, I don't wade in on that. I haven't waded in that race.
Oh, again, every Democrat's doing this. I'm not really paying attention to that. I haven't really waded into it. Oh, please. What a horrible answer. And she wants to run for president? The minute she gets any question outside of MS Now or a Don Lemon podcast, she's not good at this at all. And if anybody's going to buy that, she really isn't waded into this primary. Oh, sure you have. I'm sure you've thought about it. That's certainly for sure. Oh, man. Anyway, cut number 11. Here is Graham Platner saying he had no idea he had a Nazi tattoo, even if his girlfriend said in text that he knew exactly what it was. I mean, the lies, he's not. Talk about not good at lying. This guy is horrible at it. Cut 11, go.
Is again, totally false.
I do want to follow up one place on this, and I don't want to get too forensic, but, the Times basically reported that they saw texts of hers, including a text in August, I believe August 3rd of last year. This would be before October of last year, in which she basically said that you had a, quote, Nazi tattoo, and she joked about how she's going to go volunteer for Collins. Now, again, this is a text that got sent, so, we can place the time, right? This is in August. How does she know it's a Nazi tattoo in August of last year, and you don't know it's a Nazi tattoo in August of last year?
Oh, pretty good question.
Well, she certainly didn't send that text to me. So whoever she sent it to and was talking to, I can't say why, but I will say that I certainly didn't know. And the text messages she's sending to friends who may have recognized it, they didn't tell me that. So,
see, no one.
Can we talk?
This. No one believes this. He knows exactly what it is. 20 years you have this thing. The girlfriend knows what it is, and you don't. And she sent text messages to her girlfriend. We didn't send that to me. I could have used a heads up on this. Oh, man. Well, here's cut 19. Again, when the dam breaks, it breaks quickly. Van Jones, CNN, saying, Platner, your stories just ain't matching up. 19, go.
Terrible. Van and here, Democratic Senator John Fetterman, Pennsylvania, criticized him not for the first time, saying he's, quote, behaving in a degenerate way, urging voters to back Janet Mills, Maine's governor, in Tuesday's primary. What do you think, Ben?
It's a moment of truth in this party. This is tough. I think that I hear people in our party, and they're saying, why are we so tough on our bad guys when the Republicans are so soft on their bad guys?
You're not tough on.
And so that's the kind of stuff when you're a parent you struggle with that, because it's like, look, we're running this house. We're not running the house across the street. We're not running the neighbor's house. We're running this house. And so what bothers me about what he's done is not just the things that are being reported about him, but that his stories just don't hold up. He said that he got this stuff under control years ago. And some of this stuff is not years ago, and people are concerned that there's more to come. I don't sit in judgment of anybody. All the work that I've done in prisons, and I'm a second chances, third chances, fourth chances guy. When you're on a redemption arc for real, when you've taken real accountability, when you've actually owned up and you have a track record, or at least you're honest about where you are in your process. My concern is he tried to polish this thing up. I used to be one way, now I'm not. Well, you better be telling the truth about that, and it seems like he's not. And so now this party's got to look in the mirror. Do you want to sign off on the Donald Trump standard of behavior? You got some other people who have very bad behavior in the other party. Is that now our standard in this party, or is it not? And I think people are going to have a tough choice in Maine.
Tough choice. You're supposed to be better. Should be an automatic choice, right? Oh, yeah, the Donald Trump standard. At last check, Trump doesn't have a Nazi tattoo anywhere on his person. Anyway, some Democrats, though, still are totally behind Platner, including this clown, Corbin Trent. He is the head of Justice Democrats, who went on MS Now to say that actually a guy like Platner will elevate the morality of the Senate. You bring him in and he will improve the culture like Peyton Manning did for the Colts or something. Cut number 6, go.
The morality of the Senate is something that I don't think will be brought down by the addition of Graham Platner. I believe, in fact, the morality of the Senate will come up a notch by the addition of Graham Platner.
I'm not even going to comment on that. I could go 100 different directions with that. Just think about what this guy is saying now at this point. Before we go to break, you'll know what to do here, Kevin, after we play this one. This is Hakeem Jeffries. Again, using the AOC excuse, using so many excuses that Democrats are saying, I'm not really following this Graham Platner story that is dominating every newscast for the last 2 weeks. Not really following it. I'm going to defer to Chuck Schumer. Don't talk to me about endorsements. Just ask Chuck, and whatever Chuck says, then I say. This is a weak person, and he wants to be Speaker of the House? I don't think so. Cut number 20, go.
Well, let me say more generally, violence against women in any way, shape, or form is completely and totally unacceptable. And that should be clear to everyone, and everyone needs to draw that bright line in the sand. In terms of the allegations that have been waged with respect to this particular candidate for the Senate, I haven't followed it closely. I will continue to defer to Leader Schumer and Senator Gillibrand in terms of the best path forward in Maine. I haven't had a conversation with Ro Khanna about this, Listen, John, we're focused on trying to take back control of the House of Representatives.
Right.
When you think of garbage, think of Hakeem.
Thank you, Kevin. Oh, can we do it one more time, please? Just one more.
When you think of garbage, think of Hakeem.
That's garbage. That is a garbage answer. You're not following it closely. Oh, any violence against women is unacceptable. Okay, so denounce him and say you're not going to endorse him. Can't do it, can you? Because when you think of garbage... Yes,
when you think of garbage, think of Hakeem.
Precisely. Go to Schumer and Gillibrand. I'm going to just, back out of this one because I'm not the leader of a party or anything. Well, I'm the leader of this show. Well, my producers are, but I'm all along for the ride. Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is the Joe Concha Show, and we're back with so much more. Trust me, in just a moment.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition.
Joe Concha.
Sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks.
That is fire.
Whoa, that's good.
This might be the drink of the summer.
Okay, I like this one too. I'm rocking with it. Okay.
Try it for yourself. Starbucks Refreshers concentrates are coming home. Find them in the coffee aisle and make it yours.
This is what everyone's talking about.
Everything's on the table.
This is what champions come to take. This is what everyone came to see.
And the slam!
No do-overs. No second chances. No more Mr. Nice Guy. This is winner take all. The NBA Finals continue on ABC and the ESPN app.
Buildings.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition, sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
And welcome back, everybody. So, Zohran Mamdani, who I'm sure is a big fan of Graham Platner, they line up in several places, like the whole rooting for Hamas to kill Israeli soldier things, and Bibi Netanyahu is a war criminal, and all that fun anti-Semitic stuff. Well, Mamdani, mayor of New York, has now endorsed, and I'm going to screw up this name, Daraliza Aliva Chevrolet. Okay, I know it's not the way it's pronounced, and I'll get the phonetics after the show, and I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. Endorsed this woman for Congress. Well, here she is, October 8th, 2023. What's that date represent? Oh, that's right. It's the day after the October 7th attacks in Israel by Hamas. That was the worst Holocaust since worst atrocity, the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust. Anyway, here she is on October 8th in New York City, right there in Times Square. And here's what she had to say about that. Cut number 7, go.
Who is the terrorist? Who is the terrorist? The United States of America. We feel the Palestinian blood. We feel the Palestinian blood. And we stand in solidarity with Palestine. We have the historic responsibility. We have the historic responsibility of defeating Israel colonialism. And U.S. imperialism.
All right, we think we're good, Kev. I think we got the point on that one. Holy moly. U.S. imperialism? Who is the enemy? The United States of America? And now you want to represent us in Congress? This person should be deported. I don't care if she was born here naturally. All right? I'm not a xenophobe. I'm not a whatever phobe. Just this person clearly is an enemy of the United States. This isn't from 20 years ago. This is less than 3 years ago, after October 7th, and that's what she's chanting in the streets? You feel the blood of the Palestinians? How about those 1,200 Israelis and, oh, by the way, Americans who died or were kidnapped, raped, mutilated, babies, women, old people? Screw you. And Mamdani endorsed this person. Every reporter out there listening, the next time he has a press conference, you press him on this, play back that clip and say, do you support this? Do not let him skate on this. This is unacceptable is the wrong word. You know, not bringing onions with my burger. That's unacceptable. This is an atrocity. And Zohran Mamdani supports it. This person. Holy moly. Do not let him off the hook here, people. Tough New York media. Do your effing job. This is Joe Concha. This is Concha at Night. We're back with so much more in just a moment.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition, sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
And welcome back, everybody. So, jobs report out today, and it doubled expectations from the street. 172,000 new jobs added. We were told, Iran war, we're headed to a recession. The economy is tanking. Not quite. Dow Jones didn't do well. What made no sense, and Trump made this point. How do we get a jobs report like that, and then the Dow goes down? I don't know what the final number was, but it was a lot. I looked at my portfolio for 1 second. I go, what the hell? I thought I was going to see some nice green there, but no. The Dow was down 695 points today. Now you say, all right, that used to mean a lot, by the way. But when the Dow's still at 50,866, well, 695, not too bad. The NASDAQ took the bigger plunge. It fell 4%. Worst day since April 2025. People fleeing chip stocks. Damn it! I own at least 3 stocks that are chip stocks. All right, no big deal. Time to buy again. You know? So anyway, here is CNBC on that jobs report, and boy, they're excited. Cut number 23, go.
Data is out, the May jobs report. 172,000. Is there any doubt that this anecdotal evidence about a good labor market has been very correct? That is a really strong number. And last month, well, we had a revision from 115,000 to 179,000, which means the 2-month revision has got to be over 90,000. That is a good number. Even manufacturing posted a 7,000 job gain. So how strong is 172,000? That would be the best number since 185,000 in March. These are solid numbers. If we look at what's going on with average hourly earnings, average.
Kev, that's fine. Anyway, that's the whole thing. Like the main sector that added jobs, manufacturing. So it's not like more government jobs like under Biden. And by the way, you hear the revision went up again? Revisions under Trump keep going up. Under Biden, every time we see a good jobs report and then, the next month, by the way, we were off by about 100,000 jobs. So we're going to revise that down. So, and no one ever sees the revision. They only see the good jobs report before that. So clearly something different happening in terms of accurate reporting. But yeah, I mean, look, stock market, again, near at 51,000, an incredible number. Jobs, very, very strong. A couple straight months of strong jobs reports. And once this Iran thing gets solved, and again, I know I've been talking about this for too long because it always feels like we're on the verge and, Lucy with the football, right, as far as Iran and what they're doing in these negotiations. But once gas prices come down, I don't know how Democrats remotely come close to winning back the House and winning back the Senate in particular, especially with these redrawn lines in Congress, and all their Senate candidates are horrible. Platner, we've already talked about. James Tallarico in Texas, the vegan, the guy who believes there's 6 genders, who, when he takes a piss, and it hits the urinal, it sounds feminine. I don't know. I just don't see a guy like that winning in Texas. Anyway, let's move on because this is my favorite clip of the day. All right, everybody. You're about to change that channel. Maybe you're like, I don't want to hear about jobs report. Joe, come on, entertain me. Oh, no problem. Actually, I won't be doing the entertaining. This will be former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who, again, ask a Democrat a tough question like Republicans get every day from a hostile press, ask them anything that makes them uncomfortable, and they become 12-year-olds who just got told that, I don't know, I have a 12-year-old. What makes her mad? Got to eat your vegetables. Yeah, pretty much that. All right, this is cut number 9. Go.
Hi, Congressman Pelosi. Last time I asked you about January 6th, why you turned the National Guard away on January 6th, you told me to shut up and that I was repeating Republican talking
to shut up again because you're speaking lies. And
but you're right here. You're right here on the record saying,
no,
I'll admit it.
No, I did not admit it. The president never would agree to send the National Guard. Don't waste your time or mine on you.
Why was your daughter filming you on January 6th?
Why don't you get away?
Get away from me. Shut up. Oh, that's great. That's really, that's a stateswoman right there. That's somebody that when she retires, boy, you want to talk about the adulation we are going to see. It'll be like nothing we've seen since Stephen Colbert went off the air. Like, boy, what a great person. She's a child. Remember, the thing about Pelosi, besides the whole making, hundreds of millions in stock market, the Gordon Gekko of Congress, right? Seemed to always know when to buy, when to sell. Besides that, the thing that I always remember, besides ripping up the State of the Union address, again, like a child, was when she had to get her hair done during COVID. And she got caught. And then she ran the person who did the hair out of town because she felt like she was set up and trapped. She made herself the victim. Again, she ordered everybody to stay home, businesses to be shut in San Francisco. And she had this one reopened just to get her hair done. And she got caught instead of saying, you know what, my bad. Shouldn't have done it. Won't happen again. Sorry. She blamed the person that opened up the salon, and that person was forced to close and leave San Francisco. This is a horrible person. Forget policy, all that. Just a horrible person. And you heard her during that again. Shut up. Get away from me. Okay. Great job. Meanwhile, out in California, there is something rancid happening, which isn't surprising. It's a great, beautiful state run by rancid people. And now what we're seeing here is Steve Hilton still hasn't been declared the winner of the primary in the governor's race yet, even though he has a comfortable lead, because they're going to have to take, and if you're sitting down, the California Secretary of State says it will now take 35 days to count all the votes. In India, they have something like 640 million people, and they can count them in a day. In Florida, if we want to localize it, we always get, on presidential election nights, for example, we always know who won Florida by like 10 o'clock. Ohio, same thing. Texas, same thing. So why does it take so long for California? And this is almost a rhetorical question. Because what's happening now, and the reason why Hilton can't be declared the victor is because, suddenly a flood of mail-in votes are coming in and still need to be counted. Oh, okay. I wonder where they're going to go and how they're going to go. And by the way, in the year 2026, since we're no longer in COVID, no one can get off their ass and just go down to a polling station and vote. I do it. It is the easiest thing I do in my life. Seriously. If I have to wait more than 5 minutes, even in presidential elections, that is a miracle. And if I had to wait 15, what the hell do I care? And these people, again, there are thousands upon thousands of mail-in ballots in Los Angeles, meanwhile, speaking of Spencer Pratt, that also need to be counted. And we won't know the result of that for days. But what's happening is somehow, miraculously, the third place person, Neiman is her last name, she's a councilwoman who was trailing badly, right? She's getting more of the mail-in votes than anybody. Why is that? Oh, right. Because the top two finishers go on to the general. So if she can catch Steve Hilton, then she will go on to the general. If she could catch Spencer Pratt, then she will move on and Pratt will be out. Despite having it was about a 9-point percentage lead at the end of election night. You're telling me that the third place finisher that nobody likes is going to make up 10 points because of mail-in ballots? Now, the betting markets have her advancing. Betting markets usually pretty accurate with this stuff. Again, why does it take? This isn't even the state. This is a city. Why is it taking days upon days to count the votes? I think you know why. And this can't happen anymore. We cannot have elections run like this anymore. Third world countries run their elections more efficiently and faster and more accurately. And remember what Gavin Newsom said. We have mechanisms. We have ways to make sure that there won't be Republicans in the general. Oh, I guess we're seeing those in play now. Seriously, the feds need to go in. They need to investigate this stuff because this is a whole bowl of wrong times 100. So we see what's happening. I don't think Hilton he gets into the general, I think. But if he loses a ton of votes, but more importantly, if Spencer Pratt's not there, then you know something very, very nefarious and, quite frankly, criminal happened here. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just good at basic math. And when Neiman, the third place finisher, right, 9 points behind Hilton, just in makeup in mail-in ballots alone, choking on my own rage here, sorry, is able to make up that kind of deficit. It's like being down 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And this ain't Tom Brady coming back here, all right? It's a second-rate councilwoman who ran a horrible campaign, especially when you juxtapose that with Spencer Pratt's. So let's see what happens. But if he ends up not getting there, again, there'll be no trust in any election in that state again, if that already isn't the case. That's certainly for sure. And if you're a Republican there and you voted for Spencer Pratt or even independent Democrat, you'll be like, what the hell? Why do I even have to bother participating in this anymore? This can't happen. This can't be allowed to happen. And if you somehow can defend this, well, fine. Good for you. Take your meds. Anyway, here is Steve Kornacki on NBC talking about how, for whatever reason, those late mail-in votes, they all seem to go to Democrats. Go figure. Cut number 8. Go.
Why would those votes, we don't know what they're going to be, but why would the mail-in votes, the later votes, break for Rahman, possibly?
Because that is the pattern in California with this system. I mean, we've seen this now probably for about a decade out there. It's those votes that get tabulated after Election Day. They tend to be, almost always are, heavily Democratic. We've seen this in congressional races in California now over the last decade or so, where on election night we've had cases, a number of them, where the Republican candidate is ahead at the end of election night, and then it's a process over days, sometimes even weeks, in these key congressional races, where just with every one of the updates, like you just saw right here in L.A., the Democrats get closer and closer and closer and end up pulling ahead. It's that the Democratic vote, for whatever reason, tends to use the mail a lot more than the Republican voters do, and they tend to send them in much later than the Republican votes do. We've seen this for a long time in California, and it appears we're seeing it again here in this mayor's race.
They tend to send them in much later. Again, isn't it easier just to vote? Because to mail it in, you probably have to go to a post office. Isn't it the same to just go to the damn voting place? Steve Kornacki, good guy. He said that congressional races have taken weeks before. Weeks. You explain that to me. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear why that takes so long. Oh, we all know why it takes so long. Who are we kidding? Not under our noses. It's all out in plain sight, and they just don't care. It's all about power. Meanwhile, here's Joe Biden back when he was president, and I think he gives away the whole ball game here in this flashback. Cut number 22. Go.
This struggle is no longer just over who gets to vote or making it easier for eligible people to vote. It's about who gets to count the votes.
Oh, count them.
Or they should count it all.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know if he was having like a brain turn to mashed potato moment, but it only matters who counts the votes? Yeah, it sure does, it appears, Mr. Former Auto Pen President. All right, well, anyway, let's go to Gavin Newsom here, shall we? Because, all right, Gavin Newsom's weird. There's no other way to put it. And while, again, 17,000 homes haven't been built in the Palisades, and rebuilt, I should say, in Malibu and other parts of Los Angeles, Gavin is hosting a podcast because he's got all the time in the world, apparently. And here he's interviewing Elon Musk, an ex-baby mama. So in other words, like an ex-girlfriend of Musk who got pregnant and had a baby. All right. And if you want to judge Elon Musk on that, all right, fine. But why is Gavin Newsom interviewing this person? And this is the conversation. And again, weird is the only word that comes to mind in cut number 18. Go.
Who's been the most vicious to you? Who are you really disappointed that you're like, that are really taking it out on you for quote unquote selling out or something, or, turning your back to the movement?
I think I'm most disappointed in Elon.
Yeah. Well, on that note, you can substitute that response to many questions. But
no,
good.
actually,
That's
I will
good,
say
Kev.
I'm most
Kev,
disappointed
I can't listen
in
anymore. I can't listen anymore. No more. That laugh. Well, on that note, what the actual F was that? That's what he's doing with his time? Interviewing Ashley St. Clair because she got knocked up by Elon Musk? Who cares? You've got so many horrible things happening in that state, and this is what you're doing, you freak. And he could win the Democratic nomination. Oh, that's just wonderful. Meanwhile, speaking of Democrats who should be nowhere near office, here's cut number 17. Man, this guy, Hassan Mendy, is that his name? I forget. He used to be with MSNBC, right? And then he unfortunately had to leave because he was, fired. Here he is. Before we go, Kev, I got you. Mendy Hassan, excuse me, I got them backwards. Talking about how Ilhan Omar is, it's basically hot dogs, apple pie, and Ilhan Omar as far as patriotism in this country. Cut number 17, go.
American remarks in Ilhan Omar. If we're going to go down who loves America, she loves it more than Trump does. She did insider insurrection.
Ilhan Omar loves America.
100 times more.
Saying this.
100 times more.
Go back to Britain. Enough of this. Ilhan Omar is 1,000 times more patriotic than Trump. Oh, brother. Get it? Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is the Joe Concha Show. We wrap this puppy up in just a moment. Oh, brother.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition.
Joe Concha.
Sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition, sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
I gotta say, I'm a very happily married man, heterosexual. Again, I don't care who you sleep with. I don't. All right? But I'm in love with Scott Bessent, I gotta say. All right? Not in that way. Just the fact that this guy is so quick on his feet. Talk about a quick wit. You can't. Democrats all week have been trying to make this guy look bad. Treasury Secretary, of course. And here is Congressman Chu, who, again, reading from a script, does not look up, is just there to scream, or at least not scream, but make Bessent look bad in her own eyes. She has 5 minutes just to do a speech. She's not interested in any answers to her questions. And then Bessent is able to ask her one back. And let's just say it does not go well. And it tells you how stupid, how historically illiterate, especially about U.S. history, some of these people who are supposed to represent us in Congress and the Senate are. Cut number 2, go.
Recently, President Trump proudly claimed that he doesn't think about Americans' financial situation when it comes to the war with Iran. So I want to ask you, Secretary Bessent, do you agree with President Trump that you also do not care about Americans' financial situations?
Congresswoman, who was the president during World War I?
Oh. Uh-huh. Well,
Can you?
who?
No,
Are you refusing to answer my question?
No, I'm asking, who was the president during World War I?
Ooh, I know. Yeah. Well, she couldn't answer the question. She eventually says, I don't know. Woodrow Wilson? The whole UN, I mean, that's a kind of an easy one. He should have asked, okay, I'll give you another chance. Who was president during World War II? Was it Abraham Lincoln? Nah, it was the Civil War. George Washington? Nah, that was after the Revolutionary War. FDR? Hey, all right, third time's a charm. Way to go. Again, couldn't answer that simple question. And he had a point around that as far as Woodrow Wilson compared to today with the Iran war, which, we're low on time, so I won't get into, but some other time. But that's a great thing. She could not answer what I would think, if you're in the United States Congress, is an insanely easy question. Meanwhile, we've talked about Graham Platner a lot on this program, and he's in a whole boatload of trouble at this point because even some Democrats starting to trickle in that they say they don't support him. The dam is about to break. You heard it here first on the Joe Concha Show. And now here's a preview of what happens if Platner somehow decides he wants to stay in. This is the kind of treatment that he's going to get, at least by some independent reporters who actually are doing their jobs. Cut number 21, go.
Does the smell of porta potty still make you want to masturbate?
Oh.
Graham Platner, can Mainers trust you when you say you've never masturbated in public? Graham, do you want this hand sanitizer for later, or do you prefer lotion?
Oh boy, that's not good.
Graham, do you want this hand sanitizer, or do you like lotion a little bit more?
Everybody's making sport of Graham Platner, and it couldn't happen to a nicer Hotchkiss perv.
Graham, how old were the girls?
Graham, how old were the girls? Brevity is the soul of wit when you're doing a chase interview on TV.
Graham Platner, why were you on a kid's sex app?
You deserve to represent me.
Do you have no shame?
Are there more shoes to drop in your neck?
Do you have no shame?
I want a kid's sex app.
Yeah, it's a good question. All right, there we go, guys. All right, we're good there, Elias. Yeah, I mean, again, that's how it's going to go. That was Howie Carr, I believe, that was narrating in between there, Boston radio personality, good guy. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? And this is Joe Scarborough. Now, you may have heard that John Bolton, all right, guy who worked for Trump at one time, then decided to write a book and decided to write that book that he was going to steal classified documents, which is a big no-no. Well, you think it is, except Biden got away with it. Trump did it. Pence did it. Let's see, Hillary did it. I guess it's a thing. But people were so sure that Bolton was only being charged because, you know, it's revenge by Trump and the Trump DOJ, and Bolton's been saying some bad things on CNN about him, so we're going to take him down by fabricating some charges, as Joe Scarborough says here in cut number 16. Go.
Do they not understand that what goes around comes around? If they were so shocked and stunned and deeply saddened by what happened over the last 4 years, they're doing it this 4 years. What do they think is going to happen when Democrats get back into power? Like, dude, do we really want this cycle to continue?
Well, this week, John Bolton pleaded guilty to all charges. Whoops. Scarborough get anything right? Anyway, this show has gone by so fast. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're back on Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern time for the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Until then, I got 2 words for you. Bye-bye.
Almonte's Key Food, proudly serving communities throughout Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island for over 30 years. When you shop Key Food, you'll always find fresh products, great weekly specials, and exceptional personalized service. Visit at any of their Key Food stores at 8235 153rd Avenue, Lindenwood, New York, 935 Rosedale Road, Valley Stream, New York, and 6620 Avenue U, Brooklyn, New York.